Hello, everybody, and welcome to Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. I'm your host, Edward S. Redcar, and today I have the extreme pleasure of talking with Bella Duve. And welcome to the show, Bella. And how are you doing today?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, thank you. How
That's
do you?
good. Oh, I'm doing fine here, and I understand that you're coming not live but recorded here directly from Denmark.
That's correct.
Wow, I think that's probably the farthest remote interview I've ever done. I've had them in the UK, and you're the farthest. So you get the prize for being the one that's the most distant, the farthest away, the farthest virtual interview I've had so far. So you get first prize for that.
No, no, thank you.
Okay. Usually on my show, what I like to do is I like to find out how the various entertainers that I have got into the business that they're in. And you do so many things, print modeling, writing, acting, filmmaking. So, let me ask all of that in the first question here. Uh, how did you get interested or become interested in acting, modeling, and writing? I'm sure everybody's really interested to hear that.
Well, sorry. Acting has always been a great part of my life ever since I was a young girl, because my uncle used to be both an actor and director and writer as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Got me
And
in.
he did that for quite a long time then, your uncle?
Yes, he did. He did that for a living, and yes, he was quite an inspiration.
Okay, okay. And I understand that recently that he passed away and he meant a great deal to you. And I pass on my condolences to you and your family. And yes, he must have been a great influence to propel you to get interested in all these artistic endeavors then.
Definitely, yes, he is my inspiration still. Even though he's not around us anymore, he's still in my heart. So he's
Oh
with me.
yes, yeah, yeah. Well, they're always in our heart. They might be absent, but uh, they're they're always a part of us, no matter how long or how short of a time that they've been gone. They always remain there. So
It's
uh,
true.
along with the acting, I understand that before acting, you were a teacher, was it?
I have been teaching, yes,
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Was
but
it
that's
go
my
go
main.
go ahead.
I just said that is not my main interest.
Hmm.
It is, like a kind of performance. You have an audience, even though it's grammar, they don't pay that much attention. But it is, you have the same kind of preparation, and you have to know your text.
Oh,
And
right, right. I know even I had a little time there before I got into acting, substitute teaching, and that is to me that is like one of the hardest jobs in the world, which you probably already know because you're in the classroom with a lot of students, and it's totally up to you to guide them the best way that you see fit. And yeah, I have a lot of respect and admiration for anybody in the teaching profession. So I understand that your father, was he in the education teaching profession?
not really, he's a journalist.
Oh,
And
okay, 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 okay. Did he have any kind of influence on you going into acting, or was it mostly towards like the journalism, teaching fields in that direction?
well, he wanted me to become a teacher because most actually of his family were teachers.
Oh,
So
okay, okay, okay. So he sort, like they say, he sort of wanted you to follow in the family footsteps, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, yeah. But in the back of your mind, you always had acting, right? Acting, performing, artistry in any form, like modeling or
Yes,
anything. Yeah, that you got in. Yeah, yeah,
that was always my main interest.
yeah. So would it be safe for me to say or to assume, like, since your father was a journalist, that maybe that's why, like, writing is like a big part of what you do besides the acting and the modeling?
Yes, I think that is very safe to say.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. So, you must, being a journalist like he was, you must have maybe seen him maybe doing his work at home, or maybe,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah, doing his work at home, or did they allow, like, family members to come into his place of work and kind of, like they say, shadow him and kind of watch what he was doing to kind of get an
Well,
idea?
well, my sister and I did anyway.
Oh,
So he
okay.
worked much of it from home. And so in that way, we were able to sneak into him. Sometimes he was not that happy that we did that, but
Maybe he said, okay, don't bother me now. I'm working. Come in later when I'm all finished, right? Something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he was not using computers. It was the old kind of typewriters. But
Oh, okay. 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 Like, let's see, how did they used to refer to it? Uh, uh, Something like search and pluck. Like, if you weren't familiar with the typewriter keyboard, it was sort of like peck, 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 like that, instead of the way they teach you in school is to, like, use all of your hands. So
that's
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
I remember when he got his first computer, then he was still, like banging into the keyboard
Oh,
as it pushed
oh
it
yeah,
into.
yeah. That's right. Because like, when you're like on an old typewriter, I mean, you really have to press into the keys, right? I know that's how I learned to type. We had an old I forget the brand name of it, but I mean, it was really heavy. It must have weighed, oh geez,
Oh,
I don't know, maybe 10 pounds. It was really heavy to lug around. And it does,
oh,
yeah, when I switched to the computer, I had the same problem, like you were saying. It's like you're banging too heavy into the keys. So,
yes. I
yeah.
even had a typewriter back then because my father got me one, as I really liked very much to use his, and he didn't like me to do that. Huge.
Yeah. Well, I
Pulling
mean,
it.
his influence did you a lot of good anyway. I mean, it got you into writing, or
It's true.
like writing plays and screenplays, like for films and things like that. Um,
That's correct.
yeah. Let's see. As far as modeling goes, um, um, your father had an influence on your writing. Your uncle had an influence on your acting. So, did his influence on your acting? Uh, how how does um, how does that all tie into, like, your modeling? How did you get interested into your modeling?
Well, actually, it was because my father he was working at the newspaper and he had a photographer. And one day he asked if I would like to do some modeling.
Oh.
And I said, yes, sure, why not? I don't think I would have been allowed at the age of 14 to, be modeling. So,
Oh, I didn't realize that you were that young when you got interested in modeling, or started getting in front of the camera. Yeah, yeah, that is kind of a young age to start modeling. 14, probably usually 18, but yeah, I agree. 14. Well, at least you got exposed to it, and you got familiar with it, and so. Um, for modeling, do you do more, like, print modeling, which I see a lot of photos of your print modeling, both like on Instagram,
Mm.
and Facebook. You do a lot of Instagram stories and Facebook stories, posts and regular posts there. I see a lot of that print modeling there. Did you ever do like runway modeling?
I have done once, yes. That was from a hair care product actually, and we had to go on the runway as well.
Okay.
But it's not that hard, really.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
was
I think it's a lot harder than it looks, because
maybe
especially the walk. I mean, I've noticed, which I mean, you're familiar with, I'm sure, being modeling on the runway, that it seems uh, like models don't actually walk, say like an average walk. They sort of put one leg in front of the other.
yeah, famous with catwalk, really.
Yeah. Is there any specific reason why they walk that way, or is that just
Well,
tradition and always the way it's been?
I guess it's because cats are very elegant, so maybe that's why they think.
Okay. Now it makes I've never made that connection. Now it makes sense. Cats, cat. Okay, I get it. I get it. Yeah, I was a little slow, but I get it now. Yeah. That does make sense. Yeah. So you've done the runway the one time then, or
Yeah, one time only.
okay. And what type of like venue was it? Was it like for like a formal wear or like leisure sportswear or?
It was actually for a hairdress, and we were all required to wear black dresses and high heels.
Oh, okay. So everybody was in black so that each model's hair could be highlighted and brought to the attention. Okay, yeah. And was that recently or uh, quite a while ago that you did that runway?
Think it is about 2 years ago now, but
Okay,
I'm not entirely sure. Time
okay.
flies fast, really.
Yeah. So, like your print modeling, do you do that mostly around where you live, or have you done like modeling outside of your area, say like another country, or is it just like mostly local?
And not yet, but maybe in the future. I
Okay.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll see you somewhere modeling in the future. I mean, like I says, you're into so many things, the acting, the writing, the modeling. So I'm sure that's in your future somewhere. I know that we're going to see that someday. So
I
uh,
appreciate.
um, let's see on acting. Um, you won an award for a best actress award at the Black Cat Film Festival, and you played the role of Mariella in the short film Disquietude, of which I was also in, being one of the voiceover announcers on the TV, and by Vex Gems Productions with George Vec. And was that your very first acting award?
Yes, it was, and I
Okay.
done it without this great director, really. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
great. I can't
Yeah.
state that.
George is absolutely awesome person to work for, which you well know, and um, uh, in that film, you sort of play sort of a housewife, a mother that's going through a lot of challenges, right, in her life.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Uh, um, was that a role that was hard to get into, or did you have to do research? I mean, like all of us actors do, we have to kind of delve into the background of our characters. So, Is that something that, you had to like heavily research for that role?
The subjects were not entirely unfamiliar to me, so
Okay.
I didn't need that much research, but we always do some research.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's no matter how much or how little, we all have to kind of dig into the background or get into the minds of what motivates, the characters that we play to do what they do. And
That's
yeah. Um let's see, films. You've been in a lot of online films. And the film productions that you've been in have been through Loud Voices, Silent Streets, Ella Luna Muscroft, the founder, director, writer, creator, and of which I've also been privileged to be a part. Um, you've also been in the productions of Haunted Unit Films, of which you're the co-founder of, and congratulations, and you do awesome work.
Thank
And
you.
and also that we just mentioned Vex Gems productions. And so in all of those, Loud Voices, Silent Streets, Haunted Unit Films, Vex Gems Productions, you both acted, and you've also written a lot their works there. So uh, as far as films go, uh, say online films or films that are presented online, is this where the majority of your film work has occurred? Is like through online produced films, like to be loaded up to YouTube and things like that?
Yes, so far.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. How about like you've had a lot of experience or a lot of experience working with online films. Um, how about like on location? Any on location work in films?
Yes, I have been in a few Danish productions, but only as an extra so far. Um,
Okay, okay.
I also was one of my uncle's films.
Oh, okay, okay. Did he produce oh, that's the same uncle that we were first talking about.
That's
Oh,
correct.
okay, okay. So did he produce a lot of those films or occasionally or
He was actually a teacher too.
oh, okay. So he did double duty as a filmmaker and also okay, teaching, which yeah, a lot of actors do the what I like to refer to as the dual thing, the work and then the artistry, which hopefully one day will become the work
Yes.
instead of the work. Yeah, yeah. Um, the background roles that you've had, those are those were all like in Danish productions
Yes, they
as
were.
as background. Mhm.
Yes, there isn't much, Danish film productions going on in this place where I live.
Mhm.
I have to go to Copenhagen, and that's quite a while, from this place.
Oh yes. Well, that's uh was what is it like a long journey say like by train and then by bus, or can you get like from
Um,
where you are to there all on the train or
you could go by airplane, actually.
okay, okay.
United States is a huge country compared to Denmark, but in Danish terms, it's far away.
Okay, okay. Well, if say like if you took a train to go to Copenhagen, how long of a trip would that be? Say like versus if you took a flight there.
A flight would be, I think, 45 minutes maybe, but a
Oh,
train about, I think, 4 or 5 hours.
oh, okay, okay. Well, if you take the train, you can enjoy the scenery along the way, right? You've got 4 hours all to yourself there, so you might as well look out the window and see the scenery, right?
Yes, or read.
if you're in an airplane, all you can do is look like that. Okay, we're taking off. Okay, we're landing right now. So that, I mean, 45 minutes, like, what can you, I mean, you can see, but not if you had the amount of time like if you're on a train and could enjoy the scenery a lot more.
That
So you're I've noticed in a lot of your online films, um, and I think it was in Disquietude also, wasn't it, where your children appear in the films?
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. That must have been an absolute ball to have your kids in the films, wasn't it? I mean, to be acting with you in the films?
They have they have a flair for it, and they're very happy to do so.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Actors, when
well,
I want to do something, then they can't hear me. But if I tell them we got candy, then they all ears.
well, I mean, they've got a good example to follow, right? I mean, they've got you, so you're a good example to follow, and they can learn by watching, by watching what you do on the film, in the films, right?
I hope so.
They better listen to their mother, right? They better listen to their mother.
Prefer that, yes.
So, so do you think that, well, since you said that they have a flair for acting, it sounds that like that's just natural, it's like either you have a flair for it, you like it, or you don't. You have a flair for it, or you don't. So, since they have a flair for it, do you think that either one of them, or some of them, or all of them might have acting in their future?
I think at least some of them do, yes. And
Okay.
wants to be a director, and another one wants to act. But
Oh, okay.
they always change what they like to do and dislike to do. So
Well, I mean, they're young yet, it's uh, uh, a lot of times, well, I'm just going from my experience here in the US, like when you're a little boy, everybody wants to be a firefighter. Everybody wants to be a fire, they like they like the sound of the fire trucks going by and the sirens, and they'll stand by the street, and they'll go like that to the driver to honk the horn when they go by. So yeah, kids kids will probably change their mind 100 different times before they grow up, right? I mean, that's
yes, that's true.
that's just the way it is. Yeah, yeah.
I hope to keep this interest because I think it's a healthy one.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, it's a healthy one. So um, they've been in disquietude. So what other films have they been in with you besides? I know I can picture there's at least one other, but what is that film, and is there any others besides that they've been in?
They have been in presents, some of them.
Okay. I actually didn't get to see them because that was all remote. I had roles in those films too. So I was pleasantly surprised when it was finally uploaded to YouTube, and of course I only knew the scenes that I was going to be in. So when it was all uploaded to YouTube, I says, "Oh my gosh!" I says, "Bella's got her family in there." I says, "I gotta watch this now," and it's like I says, "Wow!" I says, "These kids are really good." I says, it's like they do like everything on cue, and it's like they were so natural, and it's like
Thank you.
it's, it's like wow. It's like wow. So like I says, they've got a good example to follow in you. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, yeah. And uh, getting back to modeling, um, your modeling photos that I've seen both on Instagram and Facebook, and especially in this one photo, this one post that you had. Um, I think it was like a black, I think it was like a black and white photo. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. And it's like half of the face in the picture was yours, and half of the face in the picture was like Marilyn Monroe. And the way you put it together, it's like all your facial features matched like exactly like in between the eyes, the nose matched each side. I mean, matching the lips, which is, I mean, very, very hard to do. The lips, each each half of the photograph, the lips matched and everything. And I've noticed that you've done those kind of photos, and then also photos that sort of, well, they not sort of, but they kind of resemble like the Hollywood actresses, like classic Hollywood. And I mean, I was so impressed, especially with the Marilyn Monroe half and half photo there, because it's like even the expression on your face, it's like you matched it exactly on Marilyn Monroe's half of the photo.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, um, um, yeah, like I says, give credit where credit is due. Like I say, kudos. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. So,
But I
um,
can't take one. It was, like an app you use on Instagram. So I just put it to my face and turn it on, and it found the picture. It found that matched my face. So
oh, okay. Oh,
take
wow.
credit.
Yeah, that's awesome. But still though, even though it found like her face there, it's still like I says, I was very impressed that your face like exactly matched like her expression. And I always wondered, like when you're taking photos like that, either the half and half with the Marilyn Monroe, or like just your own photos where I've noticed like a lot of times in your photos, your poses, you're sort of like looking up. And that's sort of reminded me like of the classic, Hollywood actress pose of the golden area, of Hollywood. And I often wondered, is there a certain acting technique that you use to mentally prepare yourself to get into character for doing those type of photo shoots? Any sort of um, mental ideas that you conjure up that puts you in the mood for that?
I might be disappointing you now, but
Uh-oh.
so
I should, like they say, if you don't want to hear the answer, don't ask the question. But I wanted to hear the answer, so I'm going to have to suffer the consequences. So okay, go ahead. Tell me why I'm going to be disappointed.
well, they're actually poor coincidental. And maybe I'm just an old soul in a newer body. I don't know.
No, I believe that. I believe that. I believe probably if you think hard enough, probably you were in those old movies, and you came back into modern times to do even more movies, so that you could add all of that to your credit, right? To your list of performing credits.
Let's keep it that way.
Okay. Enough said. So you satisfied my curiosity, and well, like they say, you didn't burst my balloon of any kind of ideas that I might have had about it. So I'll let it rest, and I'll leave it at that. I'll take another drink to wet my whistle, and then I'll continue on with the with the next question here. All of everything that you've talked about with your acting and your modeling and your writing. Uh, I mean, I imagine that you have a lot of goals that you're thinking of for the future. What you'd like to do. So, um, I don't know. Let me take each of them like individually. Like in your acting, what future goals do you see for yourself in the future for your acting?
Well, I would like to contribute to make good movies.
Hmm. Hmm. Would that be both like continuing both like online movies and like actual movies that you've also been in where like you have remote shoots for the movies?
Definitely, yes.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I noticed one of those remote movies that you had a lot of footage of of where you live, the city where you live. So, um, would you like to continue doing on location work, say in your area, or would do you have like any ideas of maybe expanding it like to other countries or
I, if it fits the movie, then I'm going far, you know. If
okay, okay. Okay, so you sort of have to get an idea beforehand of the story you want to tell, and then from there you'll like match the location of it to what you believe that the location for that storyline fits then?
that's correct.
Okay, okay. How about how about as far as modeling? Because I've also seen in your posts that besides the still photos of just yourself in those poses, I've noticed that you've also been like in magazine ads that advertise like certain products. I think
That,
I think one that I've seen so far was like a full page ad. It was like there was like a story or something on the right page, and then on the left it was like an advertisement.
that's
Um, yeah. Um, uh, yeah, that was one instance that I could remember there. So um, uh, in your future for modeling, do you see more of the print model I mean, print modeling of that type, or say a mixture of print modeling and maybe a little bit more runway catwalk modeling, or uh, what kind of ideas do you have about that for the future?
well, I do like having these ads in the magazines. I think it's very nice to be in front of the camera. Catwalk is also very nice, but you know, they're very strict with diets and that kind of things. And I like to cook and
Well, yeah, I know you like to cook because I've seen more than a few posts about food, and every time I see those photos, it makes me hungry, and it's like, well, like they say, I wish like I had smell-o-vision, like television. I wish I could smell the food and or taste the vision. I wish I could taste the food that's in your photographs. I mean, because it looks so good. So I remember one post that you had. It was like several photos that were taken in your kitchen, was it? Where it showed you preparing like different dishes?
oh, you're welcome. Just come and join my table.
Well, yeah. Let's see now. Let's see if I did that. Let's see that. Let's see. What would the plan? Well, it would probably take me what maybe 12 or 14 hours to get there. So uh, I think you'd have to keep the food heated an awfully long time until I got there, unless you put it in the freezer and then took it out and defrosted it when I knocked at the door. Then that probably would be a possibility. But
We'll just schedule it. Then I can have it ready when you arrive.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Set aside a table or set aside a table. Set aside a chair and some utensils keep it available there. So whenever I'm out that way, you can take it quick out of the freezer, put it on a table, and say, "Here you go. Enjoy yourself." So I guess we'll have to leave it that way, right? For now.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you're writing. That's the other thing I want to talk about. Like the future in your writing. You write screenplays, co-write screenplays, Loud Voices, Silent Streets.
I can't
Like,
really take credit for that. That's Ella who does that.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, at least you're contributing like to the screenplays and things like that. Um, uh, what uh, what do you see for yourself like in the future for that online or screenplays like for like online productions that are, like I said before, uploaded to YouTube or and say like actual say like full scale on location movies that aren't on YouTube, but distributed say like to movie theaters and things like that. What do you see for yourself in the future as far as writing goes?
Oh, it's really hard to see what the future bears in mind for you, but I hope to do both, really.
Okay, okay. So would it be say safe for me to assume or to say that it kind of depends on the storyline, like you were talking about, like with your films, if the film storyline matched a certain environment or scenery, like in another country, well, that's where you would decide to film. So, would that go the same for like your writing? If you envision writing a story, you would have in mind already what location that you'd want to write for, just like when you did your film in your own area in this quietude?
I think he was aware of my environment here, so it could sort of match the script.
Okay, okay. Because I know you've co-written other works like that, and say like for works that say you write entirely for, that are entirely originated by you, you'd have that frame of mind that you're writing for, say like a specific locale, whether it be in your area or like another country.
I don't decide beforehand. I just if inspiration strikes me, then I just start writing, and sometimes something good comes from it, and sometimes it's more like fantasy, I think.
Well,
Yes,
yeah, that's the nature of what we do, right? I mean, um, everything is more or less fantasy, like even science fiction. Um, some people say, "Oh, that's just science fiction," but the way I see it, like even science fiction, it's sort of like the future that hasn't happened yet. I don't know if,
that's true.
um, science fiction of older movies. They've had things that resembled laptop computers or things that resembled cell phones, and
Oh
that was
yes,
science fiction, what, 50 years ago? But today, it's like, it's like everybody's got one of these. Everybody's got one of these today. Everybody's got laptop or
that's true.
yeah,
Just like back
or
to
like a personal computer desktop and things like that. So, so then taking all that into consideration, the acting and the modeling and the writing for the future, um, do you see yourself being involved like equally in each one of those, or maybe one more than the other? Or
I think I'm more into the acting part. I like that very much.
yeah, I think so too. I was going to predict that you were going to say that, but I says I'm going to let her answer that, even though I might be almost positive what the answer is going to be.
You were right.
Yeah. So that uh, would well, we've discussed about the modeling and the writing taking place, or the filmmaking taking place maybe in your area, or other areas, country. Um, like with your acting, do you see maybe that your acting would take you, I mean, just for the role, say that if you were in a production and it was just solely acting, you went for an audition, you got the role, and uh, weren't involved like in the filmmaking part of it, like the writing and pre post production, things like that. Um, if you were just solely auditioning and landed just the role and only had the acting, to deal with in like a future work, do you see that as uh, taking you outside of Denmark, or say maybe half and half of the time, maybe outside of the country, or the other half, being in films, within Denmark?
I think it depends on the production, really. I
Mhm.
would mind going outside of Denmark, but with children, you have to take that into consideration as well.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I also understand that you have three additional small friends to take care of as well, right?
That's
Of the feline nature.
yes.
Because I've seen a lot of those posts too. There, close up photos and other photos and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. That's a big part of it. Not only do you have to be concerned about how how you're going to relocate yourself, like temporarily for a project, or yeah, I mean, that's very true. You have the family to think about, and your pets to think about, but of course, the children and the pets are are the family. I don't consider pets just pets. I don't know how you could. I can, whether it's a dog or a cat, it's still part of the family. So it's like the family. It's not the kids and then we got the pets. It's
No,
the family.
family, yes. Actually, on my wall, I have pictures of both all my children and the cats because all
Oh,
a golden frame. So
oh, and the golden frame. Okay, okay. So
everything.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a nice conversation piece with anybody comes over. It's like probably the first thing they see, right? It's the golden flame frame with the family and everything. So yeah, yeah.
They're all single framed. So I have one of each child and one of each.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was just like one large frame, but
That's right.
that's even better if you have all of them in each individual frame. Yeah.
I actually wanted to have, like one big family photograph, but it's just not possible because if I, like I'm about to take the picture, then someone is gone, someone is looking in the other direction, then the cat is gone. And then they start fighting. So it's like,
That's
okay,
right. That's
go.
right. That's right. But then if you get all of your children, say if you get them all like in one spot and all behaved and they're just waiting to take the picture, then probably one of the cats might
Then the cats are gone.
go somewhere else, right? I mean, probably out of the picture, and then you've got to corral the cats there, and then yeah,
And you get back, the children are gone. So
that's that's right. Yeah. So I can see why you've got each one in individual frames. That was a very good idea. That's a very good idea. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Well, Bella, I would really like to thank you for being on my show today. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here and telling us all about your history and what you're what you're doing now and what your plans are for the future. And
Thank you so much. The pleasure's all mine. It was
oh,
an
yes. Oh, and well, I thank you for graciously accepting my invitation. Thank you very much for that. And uh, I'm sure our viewers are going to enjoy this interview because they've seen photos and films with you in it. So now they finally get to see. Now I can actually hear and see Bella explaining all these things that I've always wondered about. So I think they'll enjoy this too, just as I have. So yeah.
very
So
much.
yeah, yeah. Well, hello everybody. My name is Edward S. Redcar, and the host of Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. And today I've had the awesome pleasure of speaking with Bella Duve, actor, model, director, um, and and so much more. So until the next time when we're all together, you never know who I'm going to have on my show next. Only I know that. Bella doesn't even know who the next one's going to be. So that's how much of a secret this is. So until the next time, everybody enjoy their day, and we'll see you next time when we have another guest to speak to. So have a good day, and until next time, so long.